The Golden State Warriors are just one win away from closing out the series against the Houston Rockets and securing their spot in the second round of the NBA playoffs. With a 3-1 lead, Game 5, set for this Wednesday, could seal the fate of the series. But something much bigger than the scoreboard has started to unfold behind the scenes in San Francisco. Jimmy Butler's dominant performance in Game 4, after returning from a concerning tailbone injury, has reignited an internal debate that's been gaining momentum. The Warriors may be on the verge of reconfiguring their roster even before the postseason ends. And according to sources close to the team, that decision hinges directly on Butler's performance. After taking a hard fall in Game 2, Butler's status for the rest of the series was in serious doubt. In Game 3, his absence was deeply felt. Rockets guard Jalen Green exploded for 38 points, exposing the Warriors' defensive frailty without their new star. But in Game 4, Butler came back, and he returned like he had never left. 27 points, 12 for 12 from the free throw line, 6 assists, and more importantly, complete command on the court. The impact was so great that ESPN's Jay Williams declared, "He's not just a star, he's the best technical teammate in the NBA." Butler's unexpected leadership brought to light a question the front office had been quietly considering. How far can this roster go with him as the focal point? And more importantly, with which pieces around him? If you want to know what's really going on behind the NBA curtain before anyone else, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Here, you don't just get the news, you get the story behind the news. With the departures of Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, the Warriors have entered a new era. The historic core of the dynasty gave way to a more versatile, lighter roster, but also a more unstable one. Butler's arrival mid-season brought exactly what the franchise needed: presence, intensity, and a contagious winning mindset. And he's not alone. Buddy Hield, acquired via trade, and Gary Payton II have been key contributors. Hield dropped 17 points in Game 3 and recorded 3 steals. Payton, with 16 points and extremely efficient shooting, filled gaps with surgical precision. But behind the scenes, the movement hasn't stopped. With Butler healthy and leading the charge, the Warriors are now exploring the addition of a high-impact piece in the paint. Someone who can anchor the defense and complement the team's new identity. 2 names are gaining traction: Nick Claxton from the Nets and Jonas Valanciunas from the Pelicans. Both would be viable trade targets involving draft picks and developing young players. The plan is clear: maintain the productive, versatile core while reinforcing the one area where Golden State still shows vulnerability. If Butler is the heart and soul of this new formation, the next step is building a solid structure around him. The front office sees a veteran as a facilitator, elite defender, and emotional leader. On the court, he's already changed the team's rhythm. His influence allows Curry to play with less pressure, the role players to perform with more freedom, and the system to function more fluidly. But what if that trade doesn't happen? The risk is obvious. Without a strengthened frontcourt, the Warriors could be overpowered by more physical teams in the next round. Opponents like Denver and Minnesota dominate the paint, and time to react is short. That's why winning Game 5 and securing extra days to prepare could be crucial, not just for rest, but for negotiations. Golden State isn't just playing a series. They're playing for their future. Between an era that's now in the past and a new chapter that begins with Butler as a lead, every decision could redefine the franchise's next few years. And it all starts now. So, if you were the general manager, would you stick with this core or go after a new star big man? Let us know in the comments below. But to understand how the Warriors got to this point, with Jimmy Butler leading a redemption campaign, and the franchise just one step away from another playoff qualification, we need to rewind the tape. Go back in time. Almost a year before Butler's breakout, before Podziemski's rise, even before the current roster was formed. During that quiet offseason stretch, when most eyes were fixed on Damian Lillard and James Harden, another rumor started gaining traction behind the scenes. The Utah Jazz might be open to hearing offers for Markkanen. It was a subtle speculation, almost dismissed at first. but it was enough to catch the attention of the most alert scouts. And among all of them, one team stood out: the Golden State Warriors. With an aging core and an undefined future, the Warriors knew they had to make a move. Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins were no longer part of the long-term plans, and the front office was determined to find a new piece to keep the team competitive without compromising the future. Markkanen, with his height, versatility, and offensive efficiency, seemed like the perfect fit. Conversations began, and soon they hit an unexpected wall. Brandin Podziemski, the rookie who had barely made his debut, was already seen by Danny Ainge as the starting point of any deal. Not Jordan Poole, not first-round picks. The price was clear. If the Warriors wanted Markkanen, they would have a part with Podziemski. At the time, the choice was hard to grasp. Podziemski was still a gamble, a project, a raw talent in a team full of veterans. But the Warriors said no. They chose to keep their gem. And with that, any chance of closing the deal was buried. Draymond Green later commented that the deal never progressed because of Danny Ainge. "He doesn't give up stars easily," Green said. And perhaps that quote defines the entire operation. The Jazz were never truly selling Markkanen. They were testing the limits of those willing to buy. Fast forward to the present. The Warriors are alive, leading the series against the Rockets. And more importantly, with new protagonists emerging in real time. Game 4 of the first round turned into a turning point. With Curry quiet and Butler drawing all of Houston's defensive attention, it was Brandin Podziemski who took the reins. He scored 26 points, hit 9 of 18 shots, nailed 6 three-pointers, grabbed 5 rebounds, and handed out 5 assists. But the numbers only tell part of the story. What we saw on the court was more than talent. It was basketball IQ, maturity, a sense of timing. In a pivotal game, the rookie didn't just show up, he dominated stretches of the game. And when the clock tightened, he was the one keeping the Warriors alive. The same player the Jazz demanded, and the Warriors refused to give up. That decision is now starting to look visionary, because the future of franchises is often defined not by the trades that are made, but by the ones that aren't. And in this case, the Warriors know might have been a yes to a new era, but that doesn't mean the Jazz were wrong. Quite the opposite. They saw Podziemski's potential before many others. They saw not just the talent, but the competitive mindset. And if he's already making an impact in the playoffs, imagine how he'd be performing on a rebuilding team, with full freedom to make mistakes, grow, and lead. That long-term vision is what still gives Jazz fans hope. They won't get Podziemski now, but it's clear they're targeting players with that profile. Young, talented, but more importantly, ready, not just to contribute, but to grow with the team. And that detail matters. Because in an increasingly volatile NBA, where stars change teams every summer, building something stable is almost a lost art. The Jazz seem to understand that. And even if immediate results don't come, it's important to recognize the patience and planning behind every move Danny Ainge and his team make. Meanwhile, the Warriors face a different dilemma. They're winning now, but with an eye on the future. The decision to keep Podziemski may have cost them a chance to land Markkanen, but by all appearances, it also opened the door to a new kind of build, a core where veterans teach, but the young guys execute. Jimmy Butler is a symbol of this new phase, but Podziemski might be the one who defines how far this team can go, because the playoffs are historically where legends are born and where gambles either pay off or fall apart. And you, fan, what do you think of the Warriors' decision? Would you prefer to see Markkanen on this team, or is Podziemski becoming the right player at the right time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is a hot topic. And if you want to know which other Western Conference team might still have its eyes on Podziemski, yes, even now, and who could be the next young breakout star this postseason, stay with us. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because when the game ends, the behind the scenes begins. And that's where the most incredible stories unfold.